St. Vincent and the Grenadines, how the marking of the papers will be done this year. Would teachers be required to travel, or would it be done online?
The marking will be done online in cases where we require teachers to mark, especially for those paper 2 that will be administered. And paper 3 too, right.
Naomi Paris, also from the Guyana Chronicle. Do you believe that the absence of paper 2 will make the examination less efficient, in the sense that it would not give children room to elaborate on their points and truly portray their academic capabilities? Is there any consideration for the implementation of systems to accommodate students who might not have internet access or access to any form of technology? And the final question, but I'll read them if you need them again. Would the Council consider a further postponement of the examinations, or the current time frame is set in stone?
The decision is clear. The decision from CARICOM is clear. There is a date for the examinations now, and this is not a time to create any level of uncertainty with the students or candidates who are being prepared. The examinations is July. As it relates to technology, as I indicated earlier, where the infrastructure challenges are insurmountable, then those persons will have access to the paper-based modality to write their examinations. So no one will be disadvantaged if they don't have e-testing capabilities. And in relation to the first question, it is important. What we have done is to ensure that we have sufficient information to be able to make, to be able to award valid grades to students that would speak to the skills and competencies they should demonstrate having completed and gone through the CSEC and CAPE syllabuses.
Orson Pickard from Creme Television, Belize.
Thank you. Hi, Orson Pickard, Creme Television, Belize City. Registrar,
Yes,
while it
sir.
is that the CSEC examination will be administered in July, and you pointed that out very clearly, I understand that in different parts of the Caribbean, we operate under different timelines or different time ranges. Will other regions be allowed, for reasons beyond their control, to administer the exam in January? And if so, what measures will be employed to ensure the credibility of the examination?
So if a country decides that they will write the exams in January, the full administration of the examinations will occur. So the normal examination cycle will run. I must say that the modified approach is only within the context of the impact of COVID-19 currently on the education system. So this modified approach is just for this period. Come January, we would have returned to our full administration. The only consideration that a country would have to give is that in the January sitting, there are 13 subjects that are offered, and perhaps some of the subjects that students would have been registered for, they would perhaps have to wait until May, June to write those subjects. But in January, 13 subjects are offered, including maths, English, the sciences, POB, IT, Spanish, and human and social biology, I think. Yes.
And so, secondary registrar, so what measures will be employed then in that case to ensure the credibility of these examinations?
You mean the modified approach now? Or
Correct.
January?
Correct, sir.
It's January.
In January.
We go back to our full mode. we are back into our full administration. We are paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and in some cases paper 4 will be administered. So there's no need. So of course our normal administration, quality assurance and security processes will be in place at that time.
Thank you very much, Registrar.
Thank you for that question. Annalisa Paul from Trinidad Guardian. Concerns were raised here about the lack of access to devices by students and those unable to complete their SPAs and IAs. How is this being considered in the final grading?
Okay, for those who are, well, we have extended the deadline for SBAs to June 30th, the end of June. So CAPE, CSEC, and CCSLC, if they do have SBAs outstanding, they do have up until June 30th to submit those. We have been working with the local registrar to treat with situations where individuals would find it difficult to complete their SBAs.
And then also to remind persons that there is an absolute deadline, which is July 31st. So there is the first deadline, which we are encouraging people to try to meet that deadline. But we do have something called the absolute deadline, which we have every year, and that is July 31st.
Andrea Chisholm, Television Jamaica. Will CSEC be making separate arrangements for Jamaica, considering the country will not be able to meet the July deadline? Even if the paper-based format is accepted, there are still concerns about physical distancing and the safety of students.
Okay, so in relation to Jamaica, as pointed out in the press release from CARICOM, we are allowed to have bilateral discussions on what is applicable should the COVID-19 situation persist. So we are open to dialogue with the Ministry of Education in Jamaica.
Judana Murphy.
Yes, my next question. Should most territories choose the paper modality as opposed to the e-testing modality? Will that impact the September result date?
No, it will not. No, it will not. We will still be able to meet the first week in September deadline.
Question from Letitia Isaac from the Department of Public Information, Guyana. Will the paper ones be entirely multiple choice? And what does the new timetable look like? Additionally, will the Spanish, French, and Portuguese oral examinations be done in person?
Okay, so I'll allow Dan to respond to the questions as it relates to the time that the timetable. But I just want to speak first of all to the structure of the exam, and then Dan will deal with the logistical issues. In respect of the structure of the examination, it remains the same. We would not have changed any format to the examinations, so it continues to be what is outlined in the syllabuses for all of those subjects. Dan will respond to the other issues with respect to the timetable being from June to...
Yes, the timetables are on our website. They've been there since last month. The titles provisional on our website. You can find them for all the examinations, CAPE, CSEC, and CCSLC. In terms of the orals, we're working with the local registrars to determine the actual logistics of orals. We are exploring the possibility of having the remote conferencing used for that examination as well, and those guidelines will be discussed with local registrars. But as Dr. Rez has been saying, CXC tries to work with each territory because each territory is not at the same stage right now. We're trying to ensure that we work individually with them.
Thank you. Tanika Garnett, How many students are scheduled to write the 2020 CSEC and CAPE examination?
Dan, you can do approximate figures on those.
Yes, CAPE 30,000. 30,000 for CAPE, approximately, and 120,000 for CSEC.
Thank you. Julian Neves from Newsday, Trinidad and Tobago. What is the deadline for the territories to indicate whether they will be choosing the e-testing or paper-based modality?
Well, the deadline actually, the first deadline had passed, but in view of what has been happening, we sent another request just last week, and we're expecting to have the information by the end of this week, which is the middle of the month, hopefully, from all the local registrars.
And Annalisa Paul from Trinidad Guardian. And basically, she said, and Barbados has also indicated they want exams to be suspended. So what's happening there as well?
As I said, we are guided by the decision of course of education for the administration of examinations, and that is July 2020.
Any further questions at this point? Julian Neves, Newsday. Please proceed.
Sorry, are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can.
Hear me? Yes. Yes, I'm just wondering, with the establishment of the e-testing, I'm wondering if CXC had to outsource some and get some additional resources, and whether there was the need for additional training of staff and so forth.
Dan, you want to respond?
You're referring to our implementation of the process, or you're referring to the territories?
Well, yes, for on CXC side's implementation of the process.
Yes, well, in terms of our implementation, we would have had to secure the platform, and we would have, done our due diligence in that respect. And then, of course, staff would have had to have been trained, and then not only the staff here, but also our agents, the local registrars would have been trained, and then the invigilators in the territories would also have undergone training, and we continue to train. So we've had training up to last week. We've had training as well, conducted training, and this, of course, is done in a virtual mode for the various persons involved in the process.
Thank you. Andrew Chisholm. Again, you mentioned bilateral discussions. Wouldn't CXC have already discussed the issue with the Jamaican authorities? Who represented Jamaica at the previous meeting? And was Jamaica ignored or outvoted at the COSHAD meeting?
We attended as invitees to the COSAD education meeting. We are not necessarily at liberty to speak to what obtains at those meetings, other than the decisions that they would have handed down to us. And the countries are all at their own sovereign, do have their own sovereign authority to determine their own course of action.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. Patrice Wishart from News Talk Radio Guyana. How secure is the e-paper process in terms of student cheating?
Mrs. Manning, can you?
Okay, so we would have had The e-testing, I should say, we start from there. It's not necessarily a new system. It's something that we have been utilizing to administer exams in the jurisdiction. We